Hey guys, the Olds here, running Mogu'shan Palace with my team of of Warrior Priest and 3 Elemental Shaman. Just, I guess before I get into it, you may notice I've changed one kind of very small thing. I no longer have the ISBoxer mapping, key map and broadcast buttons down here. You may not have even noticed, and that was actually part of the problem, was that I had kind of tucked them down here, made the buttons small, and I found myself getting caught out. You know, if I'd been in chat or something and turned off my key maps and forgot to turn them back on, go into a fight and wipe and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I was actually inspired by Marai's Wrath Heroic videos that he put out. So I now have, when I toggle key maps off, a big notice in the middle of my screen telling me my key maps are off. Very hard to miss. And I also have, when I turn broadcasting on, the same sort of thing. Big pop-up in the middle of the screen that says broadcasting's on. Again, should be difficult to miss. Having them tucked away down here kind of seemed nice for the UI layout, but they were too far out of the way and just too easy for me to miss. So yeah, I think that's a lot better way to do it. Anyway, I guess the other thing I'll quickly mention is I have been running around with these guys out lately because I was kind of proud that I got them. The Ethereal Soul Traders. They're I guess a fun battle pet, but they also, you know, because they act as vendors, they when you kill things, they absorb their souls, and you get all these pink and purple beams going all over the place and stuff like that. I think the last video I did with this team, I had them out, and to be honest, in dungeon runs, I don't think it's a great idea because of the size of them. They get very easily confused, at least I very easily confuse them with either NPCs or my team, so I won't be running with them out. Anyway, team is level 88, and while you can get into Mogu'shan Palace at level 87, the gear that drops in here actually requires 88, like this one and this one. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of, while you can get to it at 87, it's probably better designed for 88, and I actually had a fair bit of problem with the last boss trying to get through at 87, but I've done it since I've turned 88, only once mind you, so hopefully I'll have a decent run and be able to get through them again. I think also because I've only been leveling through dungeons, which means basically all my gear upgrades to a certain point have relied on dungeon drops. Not so much on my tank, although you can see here I still have the level 85 vendor greens. On like my priest, for example, I still have heaps of these, and it is starting to slow me down because you're never going to fill every slot with blues running dungeons like that. At least not all of comparable item level. So, you know, I have some stuff in here I think that is still you know, like level 410, which comes out of the entry level dungeons, and then the stuff that drops in this one is like level 470. I also managed to pick up these level 87 epic pants for my tank and or my shaman. They were in fact cheaper than comparable greens, and I guess only have a little bit better stats, but it kind of feels good to be wearing epics, so I managed to pick up, like I said, all of those for relatively cheap. We'll get through this bit of RP and see which of these bosses I get first.
Demonstrate why only the strong deserve to stand at our king's side.
So you may notice I hit a quick follow in there while I was DPSing, so that the ones who'd been hit by the conflagrate and started running around all over the place, making sure they were facing the right direction. It's really about the only thing of any note with that boss is yeah, making sure you guys are all facing the right way after that. This boss I would prefer to get down before he does his, I can't remember what the move's actually called, the one that sucks, kind of sucks everyone in and he does a whirlwind type thing. Not the whirling dervish, that's not the one I mean, but there's another move that he does which damages everyone, so I'm actually going to pop. Did any of them come out? This is the move I mean. You can see that that really didn't go that well. In fact, it didn't go how I wanted it to go at all. What I actually meant to do was pop my fire elementals to try and burn him down a bit quicker, and I obviously timed it so that none of them came out.
Will show our king and the rest of you power hungry and hungry. We are the rightful
Luckily though, it didn't cause too much problems. That has caused me to wipe in the past, if it hasn't been timed out well. Whoops, didn't quite move in time. I got caught in it again. That's alright though, he's almost dead. So, well, almost done. I guess you don't actually kill him.
We'll never surrender our right to rule the destiny of our people.
So you just kind of have to wait for that the beam of light to come up over the chest. If you try and run through there before that beam is up, you get kicked back out.
Your clan is the most desperate. It must have been you.
I think the next thing I want to do to try and optimize this team a little bit, and hopefully I can figure out a way to do it now that I've experimented with the IS Boxer menus and buttons and stuff in order to get, you know, these things happening, is I want to toggle for my priest. Her DPS rotation is really mana intensive, and it's really more suited for bosses than trash. So I think I would like to have a toggle that switches probably even all my range DPS between like a trash mode and a boss mode. Where, you know, the priest is really only in trash mode, healing through atonement and not casting a lot of bubbles and prayer of mending and you know, all those types of things. And it would probably work for the Shaman as well, to replace things like the searing totem with the fire elemental totem, and you know, any of those other kind of DPS increases that you don't really need for a for trash fights. Like I said, that'll probably be the next thing I try and do. I always forget to buy water for my priest, and I've probably got like none on me at all at the moment. So yeah, finding something a little bit less mana intensive when it's more suitable, I think is going to be a good idea. Just say, like, compared to the Shaman, the priest is way down on mana. And if I check, no water. Have I been lucky enough to even pick any up. Nope. Which kind of means I just have to wait. Actually, no, maybe I'll wait after I take these guys out and before I get to the boss. Yeah, I guess that didn't work out too bad because the Shadow Fiend, or the upgraded Shadow Fiend, was dropped, and that restores a bit of mana. And then the Priest also has that, I can't remember what the skill's called, but it's like a 6-minute cooldown, I think, which is kind of like an Innovate in a way, or whatever the mage equivalent is as well. Just restores mana, but the long cooldown means it's obviously not a replacement for it's not sorry, it's not a replacement for having water and being able to refill. Quick group heal. Not quite confident enough yet with this team to just jump down and engage the boss and the boss's adds straight up, so I still kind of take the long way around. Take out all these little guys. I'm not sure entirely how these guys, what are they called, oracles, work. It seems as though they perhaps don't really have an aggro table, because they don't spend much time focused on my tank, even though it says I'm like, 90% threat above the next closest. Oops. Still one of the little guys left behind. And obviously once you get down here, the little guys stop spawning. So what key do I have that? What is it called? Hymn of Hope. So restores 2% mana to the 3 nearby low mana friendly blah 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 blah. But you have to channel it. Which I guess I should just do. And I pressed the wrong key. I pressed the wrong key again. I need to get my key bindings under control. Oh well. So, in fact, I want to wait a second anyway, because I prefer to obviously take out the Ironhide first, and I like to try and pull him when he's over by the Hexer. So, wait for him to pat back over here a little bit before I charge in. So I'd pretty much leave this guy over here alone while I'm going through this part. I will, after I've killed the other two, kind of drag the boss back over that way to engage that one as well. But I find that one to be the least troublesome of the ads that come with the boss. So once I get the what's this one called, the Skulker, out of the way, I could stop having to worry about the stuns that he puts on my tank. Spending so much time stunned on this guy. I jump onto the Hexa, start taking him down. So I guess this is kind of what I was talking about with my priest. The macro I've got is obviously way over the top. He's already almost out of mana. So I think part of this problem also is, like I mentioned, all the green gear that I'm still wearing, and probably having a bit of a lack of spirit. So, you know, hopefully there are some cloth drops in this dungeon or the next one where I can start to gear my priest up a little bit too. Would be good if this was not the tanking trinket, seeing as I already have that. Ooh, Cloak of Cleansing Flame. So what is... So... It's a clear increase, but I'll lose the spirit. I still think it's probably worth giving the priest the upgrade. Losing spirit, obviously not ideal when I'm already in a not in a great spot with mana regen, but yeah, hopefully there'll be something, some upgrades to come. In fact, I should probably also check the auction house to see if there are the equivalent of these 87 epics in cloth, because I managed to pick up a whole heap of them. A couple of plate, like 4 or 5 mail, the healing ones, and the caster ones and the DPS ones, like for a hunter or enhancement shaman, and I got some of the leather ones as well, which I guess the leather DPS ones for, you know, monk or a rogue or druid or something like that. So So I guess as you can see up to this point, not really a lot of trouble in this instance. Bosses go down a little bit slower perhaps than I would like, but maybe that's just because I'm used to being able to brute force them with my monk team and not have to worry so much about placement and coordination. But the tactic I used for the last boss with my monk team absolutely fell apart with this team. Trying to hide behind the pillar in the corner, it just wiped over and over again. Numerous times while I was level 87, I burnt all 3 reincarnations on the last boss, which is kind of like a, I don't know, self-imposed limit, I guess. If I have 3 chances to res without having to do graveyard runs. If I can't get something down in those 3 chances, then I kind of admit defeat. So I just hear it. That said, the first time after I hit level 87, level 88, I wiped once and then changed the way I was doing it, and then got him down the first shot after I changed tactics. So hopefully I can do the same thing again. Would be my oops. What was I saying? Yeah, it would be my preference not to record movies where I'm dying all the time, and definitely not doing graveyard runs, so... These guys do jump all over the place, and they do have a tendency to do a lot of damage. Why am I not getting healed? I think I was getting healed, it's just that this does an awful lot of damage. So, yeah, the way I was doing this with my monk team was to basically pile up behind this pillar here, and just burn him down and avoid the ground pound or whatever it is, the move that he has, just by strafing around him and then running kind of the tank back into the corner and keeping all the others on top of him. The way I managed to do do the boss this time with this team is actually just standing right in the middle of the room, spreading the guys out, but making sure they'll still be in range, and pulling the boss most of the way back towards them. So I think it's once the daggers and the arrows start to fly, the damage starts to get pretty crazy. And is that now? Yeah. So at this point I want to pop all my cooldowns if I can, which is obviously fire elementals, heroism, and just keep the DPS up as much as I can. If I can, I do at times try and move my guys, my slaves I guess, out of the flame circles, although if things are going okay I can absorb that damage as long as it's not always on the same one. And one down, that's not good. And as you can see, the incoming damage here gets really heavy. Getting hit continuously by the arrows. I'm managing to dodge the blades by standing in the right spot. But there we go. Almost lost another one too. You see, this Shaman was also almost down to nothing. Interestingly enough, the priest didn't run out of mana this time. So quickly res up, but yeah, that's Mogu'shan Palace at level 88 with my warrior priest 3 shaman team. Go. Everyone can heal for a sec. Let's see if he's dropped anything useful. Cloth, probably definitely be an upgrade. The ring is also an upgrade for my tank, so that's fantastic. Always good to get upgrades. So that's it for the moment. Thanks for watching, guys. Gonna try and do, what's the next one on the list? The next one on the list is Shadowpan Monastery. Probably later this week. I don't think I'll get to it tomorrow. I have only tried running it once, and similar to this one, the last boss caused me a bit of problems. I guess mostly because, like I said, with the monk team I could really just zerg everything. You know, 2 healers, even though it's passive DPS healing, you know, it made things pretty easy. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and more to come. Cheers, bye. Hey guys, I thought I would just tag this onto the end of the last video because it's something that I had talked about, these level 87 epics. I guess because it's so late into the expansion cycle, these things are really, really cheap. And if you are, and particularly I guess for a multi-boxer, when you're trying to gear up multiple toons at once and you know, you're not necessarily getting the drops you want, you end up with some, you know, perhaps lower level gear than a normal player would have, just because you've got to split that gear up amongst everybody. Just to have a quick look on my server, I went and had a look at these item level 440 87 epics. I managed to pick up 5 of the pants, so there's, what is there, 3 of the what is it, 2 DPS plate, 2 I think tanking plate legs, and cloth, I guess, spirit no hit legs as well. The most I paid for any of them, and this was just now after I finished that run, the most I paid for any of these individually was 125 gold. Comparable greens of level 87, which are slightly lower item level, and you know, you get the random what do you call it, the random suffix which determines their stats, were actually for the most part more expensive. They obviously just don't sell because people are expecting to replace them at level 90 very quickly. So you can see I've built up a little bit of a collection. I've got you know, these ones I had before, the male DPS ones and some leather DPS ones. But again, I think the most I paid for any of these was about 150 gold as well. And in fact, of these 5 that I bought tonight, 4 of them were less than 100 gold. I also, you know, I guess this doesn't just apply to multi-boxes, like I said, but I probably found it more useful than I would if I was leveling 1 toon. There are some level 85 mop epics, which obviously clearly out level the 85 stuff you come out of Cataclysm content with. These crossbows, I think I paid 120 gold each, and this shield I actually have 2 of because the warrior I'm playing now is using this shield as well, and I think I paid 120 gold for those 2. So if you are still leveling teams, these are a great stopgap, I guess, between you know, level 85 in the case of these ones, level 87 in the case of these ones, before you get a chance to get to Timeless Isle and start getting the 496 item level gear. Also, you know, probably less relevant, and in hindsight I might not have done it again, just because of how much the Timeless Isle epics drop. I mean, I now have a bank toon that's just dedicated to Timeless Isle BOA tokens, but these, I guess, they are the lower than current tier level 90 epics. So you see here the plate chest, two of the same plate chest. These plate braces, again, you know, they're probably going to get replaced pretty quickly, and I might not have done it in hindsight if I'd realized how much those Timeless Isle epic tokens drop. But all of these, again, less than 200 gold each. I think the chests were 150, and the braces here might have been 200, and these ones here actually dropped for me. I think they were even captured in one of the runs I did with my monks. So I don't know, I mentioned it in the run I was doing through Mogu'shan, so I just thought I would tag this onto the end to show what I'm talking about. Really quite useful items that are seem to be completely overlooked, at least on my server, and are way cheaper than the equivalent greens for the same level. So yeah, if you're leveling, might be worth checking out. Just thought I'd share that. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, bye.